Okay, fan films, they're just not fan films anymore. They're a whole new level, and I think they're about to give Hollywood a run for their money, and I think even acting talent a new avenue to make money. Let's review Never Hike Alone 2. Never Hike Alone 2 stars Tom Matthews, Andrew Lady, and is directed by Vincent DeSante. What's up, guys? Happy post Friday the 13th. It is Sunday right now. Friday was obviously 2 days ago. But I finally got a chance to watch Never Hike Alone 2. I have reviewed the previous Never Hike movies. If you don't know what that is, it's pretty much a Friday the 13th fan film. And Vincent DeSante, I think he upped the bar for fan films with Never Hike Alone, the first one. It created a lot of buzz in the community. I think one thing that helps it, aside from quality filmmaking, is also the drought of Friday the 13th content, movies, right? The last Friday the 13th movie was 2009. It's nice to have really good Friday fan films. I'd even say I think Friday might have the best, the cream of the crop when it comes to Friday fan films, because not just Vincent, but also James Sweet, who directed Jason Rising. I actually have a t-shirt. I have a few fan film t-shirts, but Jason Rising is another quality one, and I think the comparison between this one and what Vincent has put out is you have legacy characters coming back into the franchise. So that just marries up studio movies with fan films even more. There's some that have actually included, like say Vincent's movies, in the actual canon of Friday the 13th. And how could you not with Tom Matthews coming back? In this particular movie right here, Never Hike Alone 2, he is fully the main character of this. I mean, I think we've entered a new territory. Yes, he was in the very end of Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow. He was a part of that movie, but this one, he's fully the main character. As I'm watching this, I'm just like, wow, this feels like a continuation of that particular section of the franchise. The Jason Lives, but also going as far back as the final chapter. That is referenced in this movie, and I love how it kind of merges those worlds, because Corey Feldman played Tommy Jarvis, the child version, in the final chapter and the beginning of A New Beginning. And before I jump into the review, I am seriously considering doing a brand new ranking, including the Never Hike movies, just because of how blended in, I guess, they feel with the studio movies. And the quality is a big part of that. These movies feel like studio movies, especially this one. So let's give you a quick plot synopsis. Like I stated, this is Tommy Jarvis's movie. He is kind of coming full circle with his whole life and what he has went through with Jason Voorhees. Remember, he was 12 years old when he first dealt with the mass killer. And this movie is kind of, I guess, the real final chapter when it comes to Tommy Jarvis. And that's not giving away anything that happens in this movie and at the end of the movie. It just feels like closure. That's what this movie feels like. And there's a lot of action inside of it and a lot of nice surprises. But also you have Kyle from Never Hike Alone, played by Andrew Lady. He comes back in this movie. So it's kind of like the best of everything, really like what you got in Dream Warriors, with returning legacy characters and also new characters coming together. This feels like a big, epic production. You can tell that Vincent had just a full vision of, what he wanted this entire world to ultimately become. I don't know if these thoughts were in his head when he did Never Hike Alone. I'm sure they probably were. But to see this vision fully realized is quite impressive. It really is. Like I said, when I was watching this, it felt like I was watching an actual Friday the 13th movie. I'm sitting there pumping my fist. I'm rooting for Tommy Jarvis, Tom Matthews, who just completely kicks ass in this. His acting is completely on point. All the supporting characters are bringing their A game. They're as professional as can be. They're delivering the goods. I don't think there was a single actor in this movie that felt like they didn't know what they were doing. So I guess that means he's got great professional talent working here, or they're just that passionate about the project like he is. I mean, this is just a full cast and crew too. If you look at like the closing credits and how many people were involved in making this, and you trace it all the way back to like, I guess when we saw our first fan film, maybe that was 20 years ago or something like that. We're talking skeleton crews. This is like no budget filmmaking way back in the day. Now, it feels like a full studio driven movie with an entire cast and crew. This is where we are. This is how far we've come with fan filmmaking, and it's quite insane. Now, there's this character I really liked in this movie too, Dr. Diana. Her son was the one that went missing in the previous movie, Never Hike in the Snow. I just really liked the focus on this character because there was a lot of emotion involved. Not knowing if your son is alive or dead is completely crippling her emotionally, and that's focused on in this movie quite a bit. And to be able to efficiently have this, I guess, subplot going on while you're still focused on our main character, Tommy Jarvis, which this movie definitely does, I still found myself caring about this character just as much as Kyle and Tommy. I think all the principal characters get a sufficient amount of screen time in this, you know? You're not just like bored with one specific subplot while you're waiting for, you know, the main plot. You got some great kill scenes in here. Jason completely kicks ass. Visually, him coming out of the water is, you know, the stuff that we all love from like the previous Friday movies. But I think more importantly, this movie just marries up to the previous Friday movies quite well. I think it's one that you're going to want to watch with your Friday collection. I really do. And I'd say out of all three Never Hike movies, this is the best. This is by far the best. This is the most ambitious. And I just have to give mad kudos to Vincent DeSante and his crew for putting together such a great movie. It flew right by. I think it's around like 70 minutes, but it felt like 10. I shit you not. I was just like, wow, that was so satisfying, and it just was just so action-packed. There's some nice surprises along the way, some great legacy characters in here, and I can't recommend it enough. And before I give my rating, I want to say another word on fan films and really just acting talent. You know, you got Tom Matthews in this movie. We've seen Adrian King and Jason Rising with a little cameo from Emmy Steele. You got It's Me Billy 2 coming out that actually has Olivia Hussey freaking coming back to the franchise. Some really exciting and insane stuff going on. And I think this whole movement that's going on right now, I think it's opening up a lot of doors for legacy acting talent. You know, those icons like, say, a Jamie Lloyd. I think the chances of like Danielle Harris coming back and doing a full-fledged sequel to Halloween 4 are more promising than ever, even though she has stated that she's not interested right now. But I think as soon as it's revealed what the direction of the Halloween franchise is, and if it doesn't include Jamie Lloyd, then the door might have shut on her, and I think there's a good chance she might come back in a fan film. Why not? When you have fan films that are this good, that don't feel like fan films, this did not feel like a fan film. It felt like a real Friday movie, which is quite insane. And I'll admit, I've probably been a little bit softer on fan films. Let's just put it this way. I separate the two. I separate studio films from fan films, and I grade them as such. That might not be right, but that's just the way I do it. I still grade it on an entertainment level, right? But this, it's hard for me to grade because it feels like an actual studio film. So I'm definitely giving this a high purchase worthy. I'm seriously considering doing a ranking of all the Friday movies, including the Never Hike movies. And I might include Jason Rising in there because it includes Adrian King, right? So that's fair game. I think the quality of that movie is quite good as well. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on the topic down in the comments. I'm curious to see what you think. Should we include these movies with studio franchises if they include legacy characters played by those actors? I think there's a discussion to be had here, you know? So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks where we talk horror all day and every day. On Fridays, we do Free for Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. And you guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Drumdum out.